Brian Smartnick is going to make this endurance run this morning, and we need to get this going quickly so that he can meet his commitments with his work. And so we're not going to talk too awfully much. I'm going to get things in place as I need to. As long as we can get this race going by 8:15, we're in good shape. I think we'll have it going no later than 8:10, maybe even a little bit earlier than that. Hard telling, not knowing, as they say. We'll just have to see where it goes. And what I want to do, let's see. All right, there we go. I've got, looks like I've got TikTok up and going at this point. YouTube, it's going to be another story for a minute or two. I hope you're able to hear what I have to say here. You need to renew my sub. Oh, by golly, go ahead and do that. I'll be appreciating that. No kidding on that, G-Grad. I appreciate that. So let's see. I'm just waiting. There we go. TikTok is in. Crispy, can you hear me? Big Will, can you hear me? Tom the Taurus, can you hear me? Let's see. Your dumbass Pokey joined in. R.I.P. America. Good morning to all. Howdy. All right, so we are ready to start this endurance race. As I said, I've got to get this going early this morning for Brian Smartnick so he can meet his work commitments. ECUL, welcome. We're going to get this going right now. Brian, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2. Well, I got to get my timer in place. Almost forgot that. Don't want to have that mess us up. Let's see. Clock. Stopwatch. And this is going to be, are we ready to go now, Brian?
Yes.
That? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Time has started. Brian is on the move. He's looking for a cart at this point. And once he finds a cart, he's going to be off. And I can tell you this for sure, that anytime, there's a cart right there. You can see him right there. He's going to yank that individual on out. He threw him out. He didn't hesitate one moment. He threw that guy right on his butt. And Brian Smartnick is now off and running. So he was able to find that cart in pretty quick order. He did. He nearly ran into that streetcar that was there. And but he was able to avoid it, and he was able to duck and dodge is what he did. And now he's off and running. He's got a good start going on right now, but then again, he's not out of the city just yet. And that being the case, anything can happen, just like it happened with Chris, No Rizzy Chris yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and get my horse some food here, and let's see if we can get that taken care of so that I can keep up with Brian Smartnick and not have any issues. Let's see if we can run him down at this point. And you can see him right there in front of me. I'm going to try and close the distance a little bit. And get away. Right there, they're after you now, Brian. Here comes the cops. Here comes the law. The law is after you. But Brian Smartnick, he's just beating feet. He's got a handle on that cart, and he's gone. And that cop that's right beside me, you can see he's whistling. He's trying to get him to stop, draw his attention. The whistle back in those days was the same thing as a siren today. And is it going to make a difference to Brian Smartnick? Not at all. He's off and running. And this is going to be a long race. We are headed towards Tumbleweed. Now, when Brian gets down to Tumbleweed, he's going to get that cart as close to the stable as he can. He's going to bail off that cart. He's going to run into the stable. He's going to grab one of his own horses, and he's going to be headed to Armadillo from there. But right now, he's got some distance to travel before he can get to Tumbleweed. Now, exactly how fast or how slow any one of these particular carts are, I couldn't say for sure whether one cart is a little faster than another. That may be a possibility. It certainly could be the case. Whoa, that was a nice little bump that he hit there. That cart went into the air quite a bit. I thought he was going to need a parachute to get down. Fact of the matter is that canopy on that little cart right there could in fact be the equivalent of the parachute. And we've got a little bit of congestion right here on the turn, but Brian takes it, he bushwhacks across, and he avoids any confrontation with that covered wagon. And as I say to all of you, I had to get this started early for Brian. I didn't want Brian to be under any real serious pressure trying to get this race in and yet be able to meet his obligations in real life. So we started Mark Snell, as they say. And we're off. Big Dan is over there on TikTok. Good morning, Big Dan. I'm just kind of casually looking at the monitor as I can. Right now we don't have YouTube up. I've got to learn the screen in order to be able to negotiate it properly. But at least I've got Twitch and TikTok down as being easy to handle. And so thank you all the TikTokers that are over that way. I appreciate you being here. We've got an endurance race going on. And we're off and running. Brian Smartnick is the individual that is driving that cart. He's the one that's in the race. He just decided that he was going to bushwhack and go cross country right here in order to straighten that line out between here and Tumbleweed. And remember, the straightest line is the shortest distance. And that's Brian is trying to make that as straight as possible. And by doing that, that means bushwhacking. Anytime that you're involved in bushwhacking, it can be a great benefit or it can be a great detriment to what it is that you're doing. You have to be good at it. You have to know where you can bushwhack and when to bushwhack. You certainly want to do it whenever you've got open terrain in front of you. Maybe not so much when you're up in the mountains or you're around rocky areas or watered areas and everything. The last thing that you want to do is float a cart. All right, there's Brian right there. He's still sticking to the bush here. For sure he is. Assassin the Glitcher is with us. And I don't see a sweat that's built up on the horse just yet. And there's a pheasant that I just hit with my horse. And there's something that went off. I think that was a California quail. And as you know, the longer you play this game, the more you will learn the sounds of these animals and be able to tell just by the sound that they make as to what they are. There's a look right there. We've got a stagecoach right up here. Now what's Brian going to do? He's going to pass him on the left. And through Flatneck Station down over the hill, he's getting ready to cross the river. He's got a pretty good run going at this point. He's a couple of minutes ahead of yesterday's run right now. Okay. Oh, I forgot that part. Yep. Across the river he goes, dodging those 3 AIs. All right, let's catch up with them a little bit here. We're in West Elizabeth at this point. A portion, an extended outer perimeter of Big Valley is where we're at. And I do believe this is Old Joe up this way that will be going by any minute. And here we are, right here, directly behind Brian's cart. He's certainly moving quite comfortably. He doesn't seem to be having any difficulties controlling this cart or knowing where it is that he's going. He's pretty familiar with the terrain as he approaches it. And so far, he hasn't come across any big issues, not even to the point whereby he met anybody or another wagon on this bridge. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, that was a nice little move right there. You know, he hit that hill, turned the wagon up on one wheel, but was able to recover quite well. We're just now bringing YouTube into the picture as far as streaming goes. And for anybody that's over there on YouTube, I got to tell you that it's going to take me a few days to get familiar with loading up YouTube and glancing at the screen. The screen is a little bit away from me right now. As soon as I have the opportunity, I'm going to pull it a little bit closer so that I don't have to turn my head quite so far to see what's going on. And there's Brian right there. Yeehaw, says he. All right, Brian, are you in total concentration?
Yeah.
All right, then I won't bother you.
If
you have anything to say, go ahead and say it.
Having fun.
All right, there's Broken Tree right there in front of Brian. And anybody at any time can run any kind of bushwhacking they want. Could be minor bushwhacking, could be major bushwhacking. That's all up to them. Are they willing to take a risk? Because even right out here in the Great Plains, you could come out of these Great Plains in the wrong area, like right there to my right, for example. He could have come over that area right there, and maybe his cart would have made it, and maybe it would not have made it. But as it was, he was able to get around that area. I'm looking for any kind of sign that this horse is wearing down a little bit. I don't see it as yet. I don't see any sweat on this horse, which led me to believe the other day that I'm wondering if as this horse starts to sweat, whether or not it actually reduces the speed of the horse. That is a possibility. Oh, I see the sweat on him now. Yep, I can see the sweat on his left side here. He's sweating pretty profusely. And that's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's an algorithm that we are not familiar with. We're only guessing. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brian. Go ahead.
I said move here. You're going to be dinner time.
Yes, sir. All right, now he's got a little bit of trouble in front of him. He's got a wagon that he's going to have to pass and get by. It seems like the pass is clean. A good, clean pass. No issues for Brian Smartnick today. None at all at this point. And he hit that river at an angle. That is the Montana. I think that's the lower Montana there. Now, how much, what are we going to see here? Right out here at Hennigan Steed. Now we've got a rider in the road right there. It doesn't seem to be a problem. This has been a pretty smooth run so far. I'm sure that Brian Smartnick is real happy with exactly what's going on to date anyway. That doesn't mean that we won't have problems later on.
Yep.
A little bit of bushwhacking right here. And there you see Brian off to the right there. And the reins are being laid to the butt of that horse to keep that that energy up in the horse. And we're about 2/3 of the way in to his distance to Tumbleweed, maybe a little bit further than that. We've got an AI in the road here. How's that going to work? I'm going to give Brian plenty of room to go by on my side, the left side. He chose the right to go. And we're going to follow him down over the hill, and you can see that Armadillo is in the distance there. And I'm going to give my horse a jab or two, just to make certain that this horse is right up to date. And we pass an AI on the road. Now what's going to, I think what generally is going to happen here is that people are going to be as cautious as they possibly can be with the cart to a certain degree, because these carts can take a little bit of a beating.
Yes, it can.
But once he's off of the cart, I got an idea that you're going to see just a little more caution thrown to the wind. Because people get comfortable on their horses. And we'll just have to see. But to date, to this moment, we are now 14 minutes in, and this has been a very smooth ride. And past Armadillo, he runs. You know, it almost seems to me like this cart has slowed down a bit. I can't tell what Brian is feeling. Can you tell, Brian? Do you feel that this cart has slowed down at all?
Not really the same.
It seems like it's going the same to you? Okay. I mean, that could easily be something that's in my mind. Ray, good morning. SPG, good morning. Apple, good morning. Andrew, good morning. Eli, over on TikTok. Corey's here. Good morning, Corey. Yeehaw! All right, I'm going to pull out in front of Brian Smarnick a little bit. And we're going to check him out as he goes by. There he goes. World Mama, a.k.a. Brian Smarnick. And we'll take a look at it. We left St. Denis this morning a little after 6. It's now 3:58 in the afternoon. So as you can tell by time, this is a great distance to have traveled. He's been about 9 hours in that cart headed towards Tumbleweed. And right here you can see that he's approaching Tumbleweed now. There he goes across the top. All right, now it's getting real tight here. It's getting real critical. He's about ready to bail out of this wagon and run into the stable and get his horse. All right, he's made it. He's made it to Tumbleweed. And he bailed out. He let that wagon go. He runs into the stable. He's going to be coming out with his horse, ready to rock and roll. And I see Chris is over there on YouTube. We're just waiting for Brian to come out of the stable. He's choosing his horse. And he's out. And there he is right there. And it looks like he's got a Missouri Foxtrotter. A silver dappled Foxtrotter. Brian is off and running. He's going to be heading towards Armadillo now. Oh, and when he gets to Armadillo, what he's going to do is he's going to go into the corral. He has to be inside the corral at Armadillo, and there he will service his horse. And servicing his horse is going to require him to pet it, to feed it, and to brush it. Once he's done that, then he has to take the lead, and he has to walk his horse. While he's walking his horse, I will give him a count. I will give him a 5 count. I will give him 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and when I hit 5, he's able to get back on his horse and take off and run again. And Brian's right there in front of me. It seems like my horse is a little bit tireder than his horse. Rightly so, because after all, I've just run him from St. Denis all the way out to Tumbleweed here. That he's been in service now for over 20 minutes. And down over this slight hill that he goes, we can see Armadillo in the distance right there. And Brian is approaching Armadillo in a very rapid manner. He has had no issues whatsoever up to this point. All right, into the corral he goes. And now it's a question of brushing, feeding, and petting his horse, and then he has to walk. The moment that I see him grab the reins, I'm going to start counting, and then he'll be able to take off once I reach the 5 count. And I'll keep an eye on him good. There he is. You can see him feeding that horse.
Get off, get off.
Okay, a little bit of a bobble there. He needs to walk that horse now. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Go, Brian. Okay, Brian is off, and now we are headed over to McFarland's ranch over at Hennigan Steed. And once again, a great run. A very minor bobble that he had in the corral at Armadillo. Very minor bobble. Up over the hill he goes. Once at the top of the hill, will be at Hennigan Steed. there's a little bit of issue right there, a little bit of congestion, but they, all three of those AIs seem to be in a row. Not really a problem for Brian Smartnick. Couple of wagons up front. Brian's going to pass them on the right. Clean pass. And we're not going to interfere too awfully much with asking Brian any questions. I want to make sure he's got total concentration on what he's doing. All right, there's a train in his way. He's going to have to go around that train. That is the first time that I have seen any kind of issue go on that has dampened or interfered with Brian's. Got to go into the next corral. Next corral, Brian.
Next one.
Middle one. Yep. All right, he's in the corral. Got to be in this little small inner circle, inner corral. And right now he's going ahead and he's feeding his horse, he's petting his horse, he's brushing his horse. Apparently one of the women from the ranch are coming out to just see how things are going. And everything is looking good at this point for Brian. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Go, Brian.
Where am I going?
Over the fence he goes.
Blackwater, right?
Now he's headed to the stable in Blackwater. The stable in Blackwater.
Check this out right here. Oh, looking up.
There he goes. And a wagon right here. Not too much trouble to negotiate his way around that wagon. Evening is coming upon us. And as I recall, when we were going across the Great Plains with No Rizzy Chris, I noticed that at that time we were approaching Blackwater under a full moon. He takes and goes by that AI on the right. I go by him on the left. And right there, I had to jump that rock. That cost me probably a half a length, maybe a whole length. And you can see that there's Brian right there. He comes right back into picture. And you can see that 3/4 moon, I guess we could say that is. I don't see that as being a full moon, at least not from the angle that we are looking at it from. And another rider on the trail. I see, Brian's run here as being exceptionally clean at this point. He had a minor bobble at the corral in Armadillo. Another minor bobble at the corral at McFarland's ranch. Nothing to be concerned with. A little trouble with the train being in his way where he had to go around the train. He went around the train at the shortest distance. That was smart of him to do that. And I guess that's why his name is Smartnet. And he was able to get around that train and get into that inner corral to be able to handle his horse. Now here in Blackwater, he's going to switch out his horse. This is where he's going to switch his horse out. And we don't know what he's going to come out with for a horse. Preston, good day. Okay.
Now we're off to
That's interesting.
Valentine, correct?
Yes, sir. Valentine is where we are headed next. Valentine, he is going to go into the stable and switch out his horse once again.
All right.
It seems like he's setting a wave point, and he's off. And he's feeding his horse right now, as you can see. He's feeding that horse, probably feeding it some yellow cake to keep its strength up and to allow him to run without any difficulty. A little bit of bushwhacking here across the outer edge of the Great Plains. Going to be ready to cross the upper Montana here. All right, I see Brian is headed for a difficult area to negotiate, but nonetheless a pretty decent shortcut. So if he can get through this area with very little or no trouble, it's going to be great for him. And he has made it through. He's back on the trail, and we're approaching Riggs Station at this point. And there's a train over at Riggs Station. You can hear that train. And look, it sounds like it's getting ready to leave the station and head on over towards Flatneck Station. Brian passes right before that train. Before the train was able to leave the station, he was. Now I know it's dark for a lot of you to see, but we'll be having morning upon us before you know it. We'll take a look and see what the time is right now. Well, right now it's 10:46 p.m. Now it looks like Brian has chosen a different route than No Rizzy Chris did yesterday. Now I need to make sure that I do not interfere with any kind of run that Brian is making. That would be hellacious to have occur at this point. And he's got a good run here between Blackwater and Valentine. I say that Brian has had an exceptionally clean run so far. And I'm sure that the other competitors are watching this race, and if they're not watching it, they can certainly watch a replay of this race by going to the archives either in YouTube or in Twitch and replaying the race to see exactly what it is that he has been doing in order to get such a good run. And then they can only hope that their run is going to be as good as this run, as clean. All right, Brian is ready to enter the stable. He's going to switch out his horse here. And once he switches out his horse, then what's going to happen is he is going to come out and he is going to head for Barrow Lagoon. Barrow Lagoon is where he's going to be headed. And once he's at Barrow Lagoon, he is going to service his horse once again. He's going to run into the building, and he's going to shout out, "Where the hell is everybody?" And then from there, he'll make his last run towards Adler Ranch. All right, here we go. All right, you see them. You see Brian bend over and feed his pony. And right here, this could be a troublesome area right here. We'll have to see how this goes. There we go. We're headed up over the hill. He passes a rider on the trail. A nice clean pass. Brian's wasting no time getting up over this hill, I'll tell you that for sure. And we're up in snow country now. You can see that shadow up ahead of us. Now that shadow is Brian Smartnick, just, you know, cutting through the cold here. And this is Barrow Lagoon right here. And we're going to make our way over to this cabin. Now over at this cabin, Brian is going to run in and say, "Where the hell is everybody?" And then he's going to come out and he's going to service his horse. Once again, he'll have to pet, feed, and brush his horse.
Where the hell is everybody?
He'll have to walk his horse. All right, now he's coming out. All right, he's in the process of feeding, petting, and brushing his horse, and then he's going to walk his horse. I'll give him a 5 count once again. The moment I see him take that range to lead.
Off the horse. You hit the wrong button.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Go, Brian.
You're on the horse. Adler's Ranch. Here.
Headed for Adler's Ranch. This is the last leg of the run. This is the last leg of the run. He's off. Now, Brian has been very fortunate. We have not run into any wolves. We have not run into very many wagons out here on the course. We haven't run into any legendaries. No cougars, no bears. Yeah, there's somebody looking for some assistance.
He's asking, wait. Don't got time for him.
We don't have time for him, is right. Oh! Damn, that almost cost me dearly. That certainly interfered with me. That one tree could have been disastrous. It's not good, but it could have been worse. Yeah, you can see Brian down there in the snow ahead of me. Yeah, we've caught up a little bit. And there we have it. We are on him. Snow country we are in. We are approaching coulter. Now, if you pay attention to the horses that are being run here, you should be able to discern some certain facts about these horses. A good run going so far. All right, what have we got here? All right, this was a great bushwhack for Brian. And what he's going to be doing is he's going to be heading into the barn. And once he gets into the barn with that horse, he's got to service that horse. And then he's got to place that horse inside the corral with that other horse. Right there. Now he's going to take and place that horse inside the corral. Now he's going to ride it in right there, as you can see. All right, he's going to get off. He's got to run into the horse now, run into the house now. And he knows what to say.
Sweet home, home.
Finally home,
Finally
sweet
home,
home.
sweet home.
All right, we got it right there. Excellent, excellent run. We do have a new time that's been established. This is going to be the time to beat. It's 40 minutes, 40.7.81. 40 minutes, 7 seconds, 0.81.
Wow.
There you have it. A good time. Now, just to give you an example, if I can find my card right here, yesterday it was 46:30.71, and today it is 40:07.81. So he beat that by 6.5 minutes.
Would you say it is 40?
40 minutes, 7.81 seconds. And this occurred on 03/01/25, and Brian. Smartnick.
Oh.
All right, there you have it. That's a full 6.5 minutes quicker than yesterday's run. 6.5 minutes, you don't think that sounds like a lot? Well, I tell you what, think about it. Think about it as far as the overall run goes of 40 minutes. To be able to shave off 6.5 minutes off in yesterday's time. So, Brian, one thing you absolutely deserve here, you absolutely deserve the clap. And I need to make certain that you get it. Now, if you would, Brian, take us through your thought process about this race, how you handled it, how you approached it, what you thought you might have for problems, what you thought went pretty easily for you, et cetera, if you would, please.
It was fun, other than I got tangled up in the wrong corral there. In McFarland's, I thought you had to be in the other corral, the big corral. I didn't know you had to be in the little corral. And getting on and off the horse, trying to lead the horse, you got to make sure you hit the buttons, because if not, it costs you time. But it was fun overall.
Good. Glad you liked it, Brian. It certainly took us some time. It's hard to believe that we chew up 40 minutes of stream time doing a race such as that. But that's what this is all about, folks. This is an endurance race. And the endurance is not only on you as the participant, but on the animals that you're racing as well. And one thing it showed me that I can't very well mention right now, because it would be almost as though I was saying to everybody in the near future, this is what you need to do. So I can't say what I've learned, but I learned something absolute about watching this race, and it's enjoyable. I'm glad to know this.
It is.
And I've always believed it, but now I know it for sure. And that's just cool. Brian, thank you so much for participating in this race this morning.
Switching horses up. I like that because you're not riding the same horse.
Exactly.
You know.
And then it's a question of picking the right horse at the right time,
Yes.
I would say.
Yes.
Excellent.
You need
Excellent.
a good horse
now,
for the snow, let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel that you had a good horse for the snow?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything that you would have done differently than what you did in the way of maybe horse choice or maybe more bushwhacking or anything like that?
No, I think the bushwhacking was good enough because you don't know if there's cliffs or whatever to cause a wreck. You know, because you do that, then that costs time to get back on the horse. If your horse goes down and dies, you have to call for another one.
So in a lot of cases, being fast is actually being very deliberate and slowing the pace down.
Correct.
So that you don't have the issues crop up before you.
That's correct.
Awesome. Awesome, Brian. You did a good job.
Thank you.
You are the man to beat right now by a substantial amount. Be proud of yourself. Who knows? It could hold up. It could hold up. But what we do know is that for every person that is going to participate in this race, that watches the race over and over again,
Yep.
they're going to see what it is that they can improve upon, possibly. And then it becomes a question, Brian, of are there going to be any wagons on the bridges that they have to cross that will slow them down, like what happened to Norizzi Chris yesterday? It's going to be a question of you had the law after you. You were far enough ahead of them so that they weren't able to hit you or the wagon. Chris had that unfortunate experience yesterday where he lost the wagon, was killed by the law, had to find another wagon, and then he ran into a couple of packs of wolves that I'm sure caused a little bit of a hesitation as far as the pace of the horse is concerned.
I didn't see any wolves.
So none at all.
None at all.
None at all. It was a good, clean race, and that's why I say that this is a race that could possibly stand strong, cowboy strong, all the way through the competition. But we'll find out as time passes. We've got racing going on tomorrow, and then we've got next week's racing that we have to pay careful attention to and see how that goes. And from there, we'll have a winner.
Yep.
We'll have a winner a week from tomorrow. But Brian, yeah, you did a good job. Yes, sir! If you want to subscribe or watch more videos, click on that there stuff down below or follow on Twitch or TikTok.